So my number 11 most favorite athlete in Chicago history, Belton Bill Melton. Oh, I love Belton Bill Melton. Hey, at the time he was playing third, Sox fans would argue on behalf of Bill Melton, Cub fans, of course, on behalf of Ron Santo. Well, to add insult to injury, at times, Bill Melton was the best third baseman in town. He not only could field his position, not as good as Santos, but he could hit. And he hit 33 home runs, I believe, a couple times. Going by memory. He's Belton Bill Melton. He's my guy. I don't have to look things up. Got the powder blue, number 14. Basically, when he came and to hit 33 home runs in that big barn that they called Comiskey Park, just unbelievable. Billy's still doing well. Just a good guy on top of everything else. And he talks like this. What they have to do now is they have to win this road trip. Bill Melton, hey, he's my 11th most favorite athlete in Chicago history.
Well, here are the memories of some of the standout players who have come through Comiskey Park.
I think one thing that really stands out most, I know you talked to Moose about hitting the roof, but I also hit the roof. And I think the one thing I do remember is I remember Harry Carey out in center field when he used to take off his shirt and announce out there, and that's when we had Dick Allen. And Dick hit probably the only ball I've seen hit over those horns. So that really stands out. That was a long ways.
There's a long drive, deep right center field, way back, way back. It drops in there. Here comes the winning run. Here comes Carlo. Here's the relay. The White Sox win.
Bill, when you came to the ballpark today, tied with Norm Cash and Reggie Jackson, how did you expect the Milwaukee pitchers to react? Did you think you would get anything good to hit?
No, I didn't, Brent. I didn't think I would at all. You know, it's kind of a funny feeling, you know. They knew I was going for the home run, and I hadn't hit Parsons well all year, and I didn't expect them to challenge me, but they did, and it's a good feeling.
You know, there are many, many pizzas in the world, but here on this set, we prefer one pizza. Aurelio's Pizza. How good is Aurelio's Pizza?
You know, it started about 35 years ago. It really is the sauce. The sauce hasn't changed in 35 years. It's as good now as it was then.
Frank Thomas, you've had some pizza. You love Aurelio's Pizza.
I love it. I haven't seen a pizza yet that I didn't like. So thank you, Aurelio's.
Down with maybe a Big Herb beer?
Big Herb beer with
there
it.
There you
We've
go.
been singing the praises of Aurelio's Pizza. Thank you so much. It is our favorite. We're somewhat addicted to it.
It is really.
But it's really good. It is in the sauce. I'm from Homewood. I'm actually from Flossmoor. I went to Homewood to see and go to Aurelio's Pizza all the time. Thank you very much.
Joe Aurelio
is the man.
Somebody big just died. Legendary White Sox All-Star and broadcaster Bill Melton is dead at 79 years old. And here to help eulogize him is my friend Mike North. Mike, how are you, bud?
I'm lively, but not as lively as I was back then when I did my top 20, which it was sponsored by the Flood Brothers. I mean, that was before smartphones, before the camera phones and stuff. I had my buddy Corey Torf come in and we did a top 20. And we'd have one on every day for like 3 weeks. And it was fun. I remember. And to be number 11, these were my favorite guys, okay, growing up. And it wasn't like who's the best or who was better. Bill Melton was solidly one of my favorite players. And I got to know Bill afterwards, which was a dream come true, like all the guys I got to know.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, he hit 33 home runs. He hit 31 home runs. And we'll talk more about that in just a minute. But we got to get to our sponsors because Joe's going, did he forget already? And I said, I did not forget, Joe. We are, first of all, sponsored by Cumberland Chapels. I guess Portillo's, if you want to compare it to something. The top chapel, the top funeral home in the land. Forget about in this state, forget about in this city, forget about right there on Lawrence Avenue and in those places there. Look at the testimonials that you get great people, great classy layout. You got parking. You got the place covers a block long, as you can see. Parking on the side, parking behind, street parking, 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, Norwich, Illinois. You can give them a call, 708-456, whatever the hell the rest of that number was, 708-456-8300, or go to CumberlandChapels.com, and then you can head on over for whatever you want to do. If you're in the neighborhood, just go by Pennyville Station, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, Tony Antonacci's beautiful restaurant, bar. No outdoor seating right now, although it was a little warmer today than it's been. But no, that's out the window now. But it's such a nice place, vast, big, but not too big where you can't have some coziness yourself. It's got it's great for couples. And there I am with Jesse Rogers and with Tony, his dad Tino Antonacci, the ambassador of the restaurants in Chicago and Northwest Side, and in the suburbs. Of course, he's there also. So you check him out. He's there during the day. So we appreciate them. And I got to say this. Bill Melton was one of my favorites. And if you remember, I had that jersey on. I dug it out today.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know why the White Sox have never brought these back out. These were
so good.
The most gorgeous jerseys. And BB knew that I loved the White Sox, and I loved the powder blue road jerseys. I mean, they look like hobos now compared to those jerseys.
Oh, right? For sure.
And she ordered online that jersey for me for one of my birthdays. And what was weird, about a week later, she ran into Bill Melton and his wife at Brook Terrace. And she told Bill, and she said he was unbelievably flattered. She goes, I almost wish I had it with me. But
yeah, we signed it.
Yeah. Well, she just wanted to show him that, and you couldn't make it up. She goes, I just ordered your jersey. He goes, you did? And she goes, yeah. And because you're my, and he goes, he knew I loved him. He was a stud, first of all. Good looking guy, 6'2", about 200 pounds. Played in the Angels organization. He was born July 7th, 1945. And he passed on just December 5th at the age of 79. I'd lost track of Bill. There he is with two of my favorite players, Carlos May and Dick Allen. The 1971 team, the 1972 team. He only played 57 games in 72. But before that, he hit home runs that were, unusual for the White Sox, because they were called back then the hitless wonders. But just to give you an example, folks, okay, in 1969, Bill was a pretty good hitter. I did lie a little bit. I did tell a white lie as far as his fielding. Okay? He was one of the worst fielding.
You notice in the open mic, I didn't pull any fielding clips?
No. He was every year one of the top 3 or 4 worst fielding third basemen in baseball. But he was also a home run king. So you had to trade off. He broke his nose on a pop-up. People have forgotten. He broke his nose, went like this. The ball went right through his hands, and he broke his nose.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. He was, and Harry Carey, I was surprised he brought up Harry Carey, because Harry Carey was brutal on him. Was absolutely brutal on him as far as his fielding. But when he came up to bat in 1971, folks, he played 150. Well, we'll go back to 1970. Played 141 games. Okay. He hit 33 homers, had 96 RBIs. In 1971, he had 33 homers and 86 RBIs and was the home run king. He beat out Reggie Jackson. Another year, he tied Reggie Jackson. But what happened after 1971, Richie Allen came to the team.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill was only able to play 57 games because his son was on the roof. Cleaning gutters or something, and the kid fell. And Bill tried to break his fall. He ruptured two discs in his back, and he was never the same. He played 8 years. He tried to get whatever he could. He ended up playing for California. He played 8 years with the White Sox, played 1 year with California and 1 year with Cleveland. So he played from 68 to 75. And I'm glad we're doing this because there's no real good TV coverage Chicago-wise right now. No local.
No, I agree.
And I'm so happy we got to do this because if the old network Comcast or NBC Chicago would have been around, they would have done a big layout on him. As it was, because we have the most inept ownership in all of sports. I don't care what sport you're looking at. I'm glad that we're here to honor Bill because I really like Bill. Now, Bill was one of those guys that was very unassuming, but he was very dry with his wit. Very good. Was hilarious. And you worked with him, right, Joe?
I got to know him a little bit when I was interning at Comcast Sportsnet back when I was in college. And
how was that?
He was great. I mean,
Yeah.
I even got to know Jigs too during my time at Fox. So all good guys, just good people, just they care about everybody around them. And the coolest thing about when I got to meet Bill is this is a guy when I was starting to fall in love with baseball. Like he was the guy that was the not the play-by-play, but he was the post-game, pre-game guy.
Yes.
And
that's
that's just when I think of White Sox baseball, that's just growing up. That's what I think of is Bill Melton, Chuck Garfien, and Frank Thomas.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't know what happened, but they let go of Bill. Maybe he had enough. I never knew the real reason they let go, but I did miss him. The one difference, I mean, then they hired Ozzie, and I always loved Bill because I used to always talk like Bill. When I would interview Bill, whether he come on with me and Jigs or whether he come on with me and Fred Hubner or, throughout the 16 years at the Score, I would do dueling Bills. Okay.
Yeah.
How the hell are you, Bill? Well, I'm good, Mike. How are you? Well, I'll tell you what, I could be better. The White Sox have a 3-game losing streak right now. And we just had fun with that, doing that. Now you got Ozzie. See, Bill was always, you could always understand Bill. With Ozzie, it's a little bit different because Ozzie's English gets worse as they keep losing. You can understand me when we're winning, but all of a sudden, I'm what are you going to do? You got me taking the Frank, huh? And that's right, Ozzie. I used to do Ozzie and Bill together, so he was a great guy. Not a whole lot on him.
No, not really.
Really nothing on his family life or anything. Very private type guy, even though he was on the air. Really enjoyed what happened to him. In 1,144 games, he compiled a 250 average, just an average hitter as far as that goes. Defensively, he recorded a .956 percentage at third, first, and right field. There he is with Ozzie, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Do you know what those teams would have done to this current team? I mean, those are 3 stars right there. Carlos May blew off his thumb when he was in the National Guard, and he still could hit the baseball. And then you had Melton and Allen. You had 2 of the best middle of the order guys you could have. I felt bad that Bill got hurt in 72 because if he doesn't get hurt, I think we win that whole thing, and we didn't. But Dick Allen carried them on his back. And I came home from leave from the Army.
Yeah.
Okay. And the first thing I did, I went to see go home and stuff. We went to, I didn't go to the White Sox game first. I wasn't
straight to Comiskey.
Yeah. I flew into Midway, took my bags, left them all at the gate and stuff like that. But that's when the White Sox were great.
Yeah.
And that's when you had personalities, you had power hitters, you had, you had good ball players and they challenged for championships. And they just got Reinsdorf did not own the team then. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was owned by Arthur Allen and them. So his last major league appearance was August 30th, 1977. Like I said, I didn't know he was sick. I was very upset when I found out about it. But everything that I said in the open, I meant. And when you finally get to meet somebody, he knew it.
He was getting frail towards the end,
Yeah, but when I got to meet him and tell him how much he meant to me as a kid, I was just 17, 18 years old, and those teams meant to us. I mean, Carlos May, Richie Allen, Bill Melton, and the rest of that team. Bucky Dent later played for him. I mean, they put together good ball clubs. Chuck Tanner was a heck of a manager. I'll tell you one quick Richie Allen story. Oh, Richie Allen made the Hall of Fame, which is so cool. He made the Hall of Fame today. Did you know that, Joe?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and he played with Bill Melton. And isn't it weird that he makes the Hall of Fame? Of course, I hate when they make it after they're gone. But Richie Allen, one quick story. I had a health inspector that inspected one of my hot dog stands. And he's, I got a pretty good grade. And we started talking. He said he was a Spanish guy. And he said he used to be the interpreter for the White Sox.
Huh.
I don't know if I told you this. Have I ever told you this story? I don't know.
No.
Francisco Barrios. He was the interpreter for all the White Sox Spanish players.
Okay, yeah.
Well, the ball game's getting ready to start. Dick Allen ain't there. And Chuck Tanner starts calling around. They find out he's at the Hickory Pit on Hofstad, half in the back. So the Spanish guy, I think his name was Hector, who was for about 3 years, he was the health inspector in our area. He was sent to the Hickory Pit to get Richie Allen. He goes, where's Richie Allen? The game started already. He goes, he's in the back. He's drinking bourbon, whiskey out of a teacup. He comes in, he's like this. He goes, Richie, what? The game started already. Coach, the manager Tanner sent me to get you. He goes, oh, you're kidding me, man. He goes, all right. So he gets up, they get him in. Takes him about 20 minutes to get to Comiskey, get him all settled, get in the car, get parked and everything else. Gets in there. He says, what am I going to do? Get dressed. Get dressed. Okay. So he gets dressed. Can barely walk. Gets in the dugout. Can smell the booze on his breath. Tanner knows, but Tanner always respected Richie Allen, knew he was the straw that stirred the drink, had really different rules for him, but this was over the line. So he's a little hot at Richie, but he's not talking to him. Richie's in the corner of the dugout. Ninth inning comes. They need a pinch hitter. He calls on Richie Allen. Richie Allen comes up, gets in the on-deck circle. He's next batting. He's leaning on the bat like this. The guy's telling me this at my hot dog stand. I go, he comes up the bat, the first pitch, over the wall for a home run. He goes, I'm not kidding you, my friend. Like that. I am not kidding you. That's what he did. And they asked him afterwards, how'd you do it? He goes, well, I saw 3 baseballs and I just hit the one in the middle.
Oh, my God.
So that was when ball players have no personality no more. Nothing. They don't say nothing.
That's amazing.
They run in, they run out, they go in the dugout. They're always on time. It's boring.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. What a story.
In honor of Richie Allen and making the Hall on a day that his good friend Bill Melton is being honored here on Somebody Big Just Died. Joe, tremendous job as always. It was good to see me at a younger age once again. Talked a little bit quicker back then. Yeah. I guess you slow down, you don't even realize it sometimes. Anyway, on behalf of Joe, here we go. Let's play it. Play it one more time. Let's see it. Come on.
I'll play it for you. Do you want the audio? Sorry, I didn't ask.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
You want the audio? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
I had to get another look at Mike in his olden days. Here we go.
So my number 11 most favorite athlete in Chicago history, Belton Bill Melton. Oh, I love Belton Bill Melton. Hey, at the time he was playing third. Sox fans would argue on behalf of Bill Melton, Cub fans, of course, on behalf of Ron Santo. Well, to add insult to injury, at times, Bill Melton was the best third baseman in town. He not only could field his position, not as good as Santos, but he could hit. And he hit 33 home runs, I believe, a couple times. Going by memory. He's Bill Melton. He's my guy. I don't have to look things up. Got the powder blue, number 14. Basically, when he came and to hit 33 home runs in that big barn that they called Comiskey Park, just unbelievable. Billy's still doing well. Just a good guy on top of everything else. And he talks like this. What they have to do now is they have to win this road trip. Bill Melton, hey, he's my 11th most favorite athlete in Chicago history.
How cool is that, Mike? Looking good, Mike.
I got to tell you something. We used to stand on the street corner, and I remember the Sox had a third baseman named Pete Ward, and the Cubs had Ron Santo. Well, Pete Ward had a couple good years, but Santo was probably the better third baseman. So we would lose the argument. Then Melton showed up. This was the best. So we're arguing back and forth about Melton and Santo. All of a sudden, we find out Santos traded to the White Sox. They didn't even try to put him at third base. They put him at second base. And that was the end of my buddies who were Cub fans. I go, look at who's playing second and look at who's playing third. But in honesty, we got Ronnie at the end of his career. Both of them should have been in the Hall of Fame probably a lot sooner. Joe, any closing words? You worked with the man and you had a good time. You worked at Comcast.
Just a great man. For me, the voice I'll always link with the White Sox pre and post game.
Yep.
As a kid growing up watching this team.
What about me?
It's that voice.
But what about me? How about Ozzie?
Ozzy's there. Chuck Garfine's there. Frank Thomas is there. Those are all.
I'll tell you what. I had a voice that it sounded like God.
It did.
On behalf of Joe Mandel, I'm Mike North. We had fun tonight talking about a really good guy and a guy that made an impact. It may have been for only a few years, but yeah, he can, you know what? His friends can finally say, you were big because you were on somebody big just died. See you next time. Bye-bye.